Hello, Earthlings. Welcome to Alien Wizard Science. My name is Matt Worldly, and we are recording live from the greatest city in the entire planet, Denver, Colorado. That's where I have decided to set up shop and build this incredible laboratory. And right now, you are looking at a vintage piece of glass from the 1950s. I took it off of a lamp. Sometimes I pay $20 for this kind of stuff. Sometimes I pay $150 for this kind of stuff. It all depends. You just got to know where to look, where to shop, and what not to fall for. There's a lot of crap out there, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of crap. You know, how do you tell the difference between like an antique store and a junk store? Sometimes I think it's hard to tell. I think that, if you're a hoarder, technically you can be an antique. You can be an antique mall. You can just turn your house into an antique mall if you're a hoarder. No, I'm just kidding. I genuinely love antique shops. That's where I get all this stuff. And today we're going to be talking about this stuff. This is part 2 of Bothers or Fathers. And I named it that because it's a good question. Are fathers bothers, or are they just fathers? Is it our perception of them that makes them bothers because we expect too much of them, because we want them to be the dad or the mother or the friend or the coworker that we want them to be? So we let them get the best of us because we're still learning how to form boundaries. Some of us are still gaining confidence of gaining to establish boundaries. Some people never get around to it because they always feel like they're hurting somebody's feelings, right? Sometimes setting boundaries is offensive. My question is, what's the difference between setting boundaries with a friend and setting boundaries with a crackhead? There's no difference. One's just a whole lot easier. When you're on the street and somebody comes up to you like this, you say, hey, stay the fuck away from me. Okay? Bam. Boundaries. When a friend does it, a friend looks a lot less like a crackhead. Maybe a friend comes up to you and is like, right? Got a trick up my sleeve. Guess what? You know better. You've known them for a long time. You love them. But you need some space. You need some boundaries because you know this friend sometimes can turn into a crackhead if you spend too much time with them. So if you guys watched my last episode, my last transmission, I keep calling them episodes. If you watched my last transmission, you'll see that I went balls deep into this drama that occurred when my father was visiting me from Oregon. And I talked about how when he initially wanted to come here, he wanted to come for 6 days. And I was like, whoa. I was like, that's a long time. But fuck, man, I love my dad. I want to spend as much time as I can with my dad. Do I want to live with him? Hell no. Do I want him to come to Denver and visit me all the time so we can ride around on scooters and smoke good weed and see comedy and laugh and just practically be just like brothers? Of course I want that. But when he said 6 days, something inside me went, eh! I knew that was too long. I knew that 4 or 5 days should be the absolute max because we all know that there are people in our lives, again, whether they're friends or relatives or coworkers or whatever, too much of them in a large quantity can be a little bit hectic, however you want to put it. And that's where boundaries come in. Today we're going to talk about boundaries. And in my last episode, I told you guys that my dad wrote me a text message and that I was going to read it to all of you for the first time. During the last transmission, unfortunately, my computer ran out of space, so the video was cut short, which is perfect because I was taxed. I was emotionally taxed after that. So I've got the text message up, and I did read it. I read through it. I haven't actually read it word for word yet because I wanted to save this. moment and talk to you guys about it and walk you through this. And before we get into this, I just want to say something like really important here. My intention for sharing this text message with you is not to be insensitive in any way or to share some sort of weird personal business. This isn't like a I'm right, he's wrong, I'm right, vice versa, whatever. This is me in full acknowledgement that we, humanity, we all have parents. We're all going through stuff. Some of us don't know how to navigate the complexity of our parents' mind. We don't even know how to navigate the complexity of our own emotions, especially when it comes to our parents. So that's what this video is for. I just desire to walk you through my process because I believe my process is very genuine. I'm coming from a place of love. I have no quarrels with my dad right now. Sure, we're not talking on the phone or whatever, but like if he calls me right now, I'm like, "What's up? What's up, homie? How you doing? What's cracking? What's good?" Right? So this is my process, and I hope that this helps you guys. I hope it resonates, and you can leave this video with a better understanding of boundaries and just letting people be themselves, which comes with boundaries. Because if we let people be themselves, then we know who they are. And when we know who they are, then we know the extent of how we want them in our lives, right? As I mentioned in my most recent post, same thing with sugar. Some of us make boundaries with sugar because too much of something can be maybe a little bit hectic or a little bit toxic. I keep using that word hectic, but a little bit toxic, maybe a little bit poisonous. Maybe it just kind of hurts our mind a little bit. Who knows? So, I want to start this episode by saying this is everybody's business. This is everybody's business. I feel really confident about sharing this with you guys because once we go through this, I'm going to prove some fantastic points, and my hope is that after this video you feel absolutely liberated, okay? So we're going to jump into this, and I took some notes here, so let me just make sure I covered everything. Yes, this is actually how I wanted to start. Before I jump into my data, actually let me cue up some music because I find that makes the videos so much better when there's music. So let's do this. That's not really the vibe. Give me 1 second. Let me change this shit. There we go. This is cool. All right, you guys. Hear me out here, okay? This is the introduction to this episode. I saw somebody post on Facebook, maybe a couple years ago, that their girlfriend had broken up with them for another man. And I commented, the first thing I commented was, "Hey brother, it has absolutely nothing to do with you. You're gonna be great. Just keep up the good work." And he responded to me and he was like, "What do you mean? What do you mean it has nothing to do with me? It has everything to do with me. She left me for another man." And I'm like, you know what? I can't be everybody's fucking psychologist. I'm just gonna leave this one alone. All right. Turn this music down more. There it is. That's better. And I know that a lot of people would be under the interpretation or under the assumption that if you have a significant other and they leave you for somebody else, that it has everything to do with you because maybe you didn't do good enough, you weren't performing good enough, you weren't a good boyfriend. There's something. We can spend hours and days and months trying to pick ourselves apart of like why this person didn't want to be with us. What did we do wrong, right? If they left me, then it has to be me. My argument is no, it's not you. It's just people. Just let people be people and don't internalize their shit. Let me tell you guys something. My ex-girlfriend, she was very romantic with my best friend, and I was naive. I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, you like gardening, he likes gardening. Why don't you guys meet, garden together, since I'm not really into that. And yeah. I don't know, you guys laughing at me right now? You're like, oh, why the fuck would you do that? Well, it's because I'm a great guy. It's because I'm a nice guy. It's because I'm trusting. Not as trusting as I used to be. I used to be maybe a little too trusting. But let me tell you, I found out that my girlfriend, she wasn't sleeping with my best friend, but they were together a lot. And they would actually go skinny dipping. Right? That was kind of their, how can we come as close as possible to like being together, but without actually, disobeying any rules or something. Maybe that was their mindset. Like, who the fuck knows? The point that I'm trying to make is it would have been very easy for me to internalize all of that. Is my dick not big enough? Did I not sing to you enough before bed? Did I not give you enough roses on Valentine's Day? Is it my forehead? Is it my big old booty that I got from my mom? Like, what is it about me that caused you to pretty much, be with my friend instead of me? This would be very easy. This is the rabbit hole that most people go down. I gotta turn the music off right now, guys. Sorry. This is the rabbit hole that most people go down in these situations. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because it parallels the whole parental thing as well. When we grow up alongside of our parents and we're not getting the attention from them that we expect, then we start to internalize it. And the same goes for relationships and friends. When a friend wrongs us, when a coworker does some sneaky ass shit, you're like, well, I didn't deserve that. That's true. You didn't deserve that. And it's also not your fault. It's just people. We will never understand the depths of everyone else's psychology and their actions and why they do the things that they do. Never. So we have a choice. We can try to pick ourselves apart, or we can say, wait a minute, this has nothing to do with me. This is just who they are. And, no judgment. Just let people be. Let people be. Learn to love people where they're at. Learn to let people go when it's time. And practice not internalizing every little thing that happens in our lives as if there's something wrong with us. Okay? Or that we demand an apology, right? Some of us are waiting for apologies from relatives, friends, family, whatever. We're never going to get that apology. Are you guys familiar with the song? It goes, never gonna get it, never gonna get it, never gonna get it, never gonna get it, never gonna get it. That song is about the apology that you want from your friend or your mom or your dad. You're never gonna get it. You're never gonna get the apology that you want. So instead of drowning in your own hell, just let it go. Learn to love yourself. Learn to fulfill yourself with validation, internal validation versus external validation. And I swear to God, you will live a beautiful life. And you'll be a lot more present in the circumstances of conflict. When shit goes down, you're like this. Some shit's going down, somebody's yelling at you, you're like, home. Sometimes we don't always act like that. Sometimes we're like, la, 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 la. And then we go back and we're like, why did I act like that? Well, we have to act like that so that we can learn about what's really happening in here, how we're ticking the fabric, the circuitry of our soul, of our psychology. Our reactions, not our responses, our reactions teach us what's going on in here. Our responses are a product of looking back at those reactions and saying, here's what I'd like to do differently. And instead of reacting, we respond. And if we get good enough, sometimes, not all the time, our response can come from this place. Om. Om. Inner peace. Not gonna let your shit fuck with my shit. All right? So, let's do like a thing. Let's do like a visual thing, and then we'll get into it so we can break up these talking points. So, I'll see you guys in a second. Much love. Welcome back, everybody. That was just to ground us a little bit, because we're gonna talk about some heavy stuff, and I think some of you guys are gonna be triggered a little bit, and maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe this will be a breeze for all of you. Maybe you're already on a great page with your parents and your friends, and you've learned not to internalize anybody's stuff, but to just love and respect people for exactly where they are. That's what I'm learning to do. And by God, that shit is not easy. But I'm learning and I'm growing. So, as I mentioned before, there was a little bit of a disagreement between my father and I. Please watch my last video. I can't get into all of it. I just have to just summarize it so that we can just move forward. But ultimately, we were on vacation together. I was tailgating somebody. He said, "Stop tailgating." I got mad. I acted like a little bitch. And I didn't really fess up to it. I just kept grinding and trying to get my way and trying to be right, trying to prove and just continue being a smart ass and talking shit. And even after that, we got home, we separated a little bit, and I'm in the kitchen and I'm doing dishes. And even when I'm doing dishes, I'm like in that place of just like trying to find some common ground with myself, just like trying to be like, Matt, check your ego. Like, come on. But I'm so caught up in this fucking, don't tell me what to fucking do. I'll do whatever the fuck I want. I'm a grown-ass man. You're a fucking tailgater. I'm not a fucking tailgater. You're a fucking tailgater. I'm not a fucking tailgater. You're a fucking tailgater. Right? That's where I was. And it was really hard to get out of that place. And the reason why I want to make this fucking video is because a lot of us can't get out of that place. A lot of us get so caught up here. Because our defense mechanisms have been programmed into our personality, so that when we act out our personality and somebody says, what are you doing? We say, I know myself. No, don't even give me that shit. Don't even give me that shit. I know me. You're wrong. I'm right. I'm going to heaven. You're going to hell. Suck my ass. A lot of us are like that. Whether we like to admit it or not, a lot of us are like that. And that's what we're going to talk about right now. I'm going to bring you guys deep into the waters, and I'm just going to walk you through my process, okay? When we calmed down from the whole tailgating experience and whatnot, we ordered a pizza, we hung out. I said, I'm sorry. I actually didn't say sorry. I want to note that. I said I didn't mean to be disrespectful. And I overreacted. I took it personal, right? Didn't say sorry at first. But then later on, I think in the heat of the moment, when the next phase of the drama happened, I was like, okay, I am sorry. Finally, it took an arm and a leg. It takes an arm and a leg for a lot of us to just fess up to our bullshit. Some of us never do it. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about that shit right now. My dad came into my laboratory. Again, I'm only going to just summarize this with a piece of pizza later that night without a plate, and it's just dripping, and it's getting arugula on my fucking chairs and my floor, this very amazing floor, this very amazing laboratory is very sacred to me, and I fucking blew up. I said, can you please not eat that in here? Actually, that wasn't blowing up. I asked him politely at first, can you please not eat that in here? And then it was all just fucking, he took it all personal from there, and then it escalated, and then things were said back and forth. Then the next day, we woke up, we didn't talk to each other. His plane was supposed to leave at 9:30 on Friday. He left at 2 in the afternoon and was like, I can't take the silence anymore, it's deafening. I love you, bye. I love you too, see you later. He left, he just went and sat at the airport for 7 hours. I didn't know when I was going to talk to him again, but I did receive this text message. That's what this whole post is all about, is this text message that I'm going to, that we're going to read together right now. And we're just going to kind of break it down because there's a lot here, people. There's a lot here. After he left, I went to work that night, and I had to process this with somebody. So I'm painting this girl, and she's like, so how's your day? And I was like, oh man, you want to know? She's like, yeah, I want to know. Give me the tea. So I told her everything I told you, and pretty much what she said was, when we grow up as kids, isn't that like all our parents drill into our head is get a plate, get a napkin, you're gonna drip on the house, don't make a mess. It's like, this is just like common sense. This is literally what I was just reiterating to my dad in the moment. Please get a plate, get a napkin, don't eat that in here, regardless. But even if he came in here with a plate, chances are I wouldn't have said shit. Just saying. Let's break down this text message. I got it from my dad probably 2 days after he left. And we're gonna look at this. Check this out here. Check this out. We're gonna read through this together. Okay. Notice that this says 7:56 p.m. and it starts off "Good morning, son." So you can tell that he's been working on this all day, and just decided to keep the good morning. So it started in the morning when he woke up, which is around 12 probably, and then he sends it to me about 8 p.m., which is hilarious. So here we go. Good morning, son. This will be the first time I actually read through this entire thing, word for word. Good morning, son. I'm not sure neither of us liked the way my visit ended, and it's clear you needed time to process what happened, otherwise you would have said more before I left. I want to start by saying I love you more than life. Nothing in this world is more important than you. That's why I packed up and moved each time you did, and moved from state to state. You're my heart. I've enjoyed watching you grow into the person you are today. Very nice. Very heartfelt. Honestly, I think you finally got a taste of all the times you've gone into my refrigerator and grabbed food and not used a paper plate or a napkin. Opened something and left it on the counter, prepared foods and didn't clean up your mess, drank or ate the last of something of mine with the excuse that you'll get more. This has happened almost every time you've visited my house. I don't know what else is going on in your life, but you handled things poorly, son. I am your dad. It wasn't done to piss you off, and I would never jeopardize your belongings, but you put everything above me over a slice of pizza, arugula, and cookie crumbs. I'm confident that your wooden stool, I had a wooden stool on my floor without any blanket under it. I didn't like it, but it was a special occasion. I let it slip. That's what he's referring to. Your wooden stool would have done more damage on your floor than food. You then escalated the matter by claiming I wasn't impressed with your light show the night before, which I did enjoy, but according to you, I wasn't impressed enough. Finally, I tried to explain that your inanimate objects can't love you back, but that your inanimate objects, can't love you back, but you and I are blood, and that should mean something. But you seem to have put your worldly possessions above everything else. You took what I said out of context when I said those things are nothing, because everything in your place can be replaced. Your father can't. Your father can't, even though you do have two dads. You're my blood and the most important person in my life. Whew! Holy mother fucking shit Christ almighty. Whew! That was a tough read, people. You gotta love how it was, opened with "I love you, I'll follow you everywhere in the world, you're my life," and then all the shit, and then one more little cherry on top at the end. You are the most important person in my life. Okay, great. I'm aware of that. Thank you. A simple "I'm sorry" would suffice, but instead we got this long-ass text message, so let's go over it. The first thing that stands out to me, which I find absolutely hysterical, is when he said, honestly, I think you finally got a taste of all the times you've gone into my refrigerator and grabbed food, right? As if when he ate that pizza at my house, he came in here and he was like, I'm going to show him, right? I'm going to show him. That's why I'm eating this pizza right now, because it's about time this motherfucker got a taste of when he didn't replace my chocolate milk, when he, left weed crumbs in my sink, whatever. I'm not perfect here. I'm not claiming that, what he's saying isn't true. To break it all down seems very unnecessary right now. But I did send this text to a couple people, and they brought up some really good points, right? Let's talk about going home for the holidays, because generally that's when I visit my dad, is when I'm coming home for the holidays. How many of you go home for the holidays and your parents have your favorite shit waiting for you in the fridge? Or they have your favorite items for you, whatever, right? How many times after you consume those items or whatever, do your parents are like, you gonna replace that stuff? Huh? Merry Christmas, I want my money back. I want my shit back. I want to be reimbursed for those bacon chocolate chip cookies. I want to be reimbursed for everything that I paid, got you on this vacation. It's like, that's just not how parents are. But in this message, it really seems like he's just being facetious and revengeful and trying to, eat pizza in my sacred space. This is essentially my office, out of spite. Yeah, out of spite. I'm going to do it out of spite. Which is interesting because instead of the simple I'm sorry, you really have to sit down and contemplate. What do I want to say? Oh yeah, how about all the times you fucking, when you were 7 years old and you ate without a plate? How about the time you came and you came to my house, you drank my chocolate milk, you said you were going to replace it, and then you didn't. Well, guess what? Boom, here's some grease on your $15,000 floor. I mean, what the fuck are we doing here, people? You know what I mean? This is to me, this is insane. You guys might be looking at this and be like, yeah, he's got a valid point. And guess what? I respect your opinion. As long as you respect my opinion. If we can just meet in the middle, agree to disagree, if I can just process this with you and just try to find some common ground here, but to help all of us understand that no matter how crazy any of this text gets, still my dad, still love him, and guess what? Never gonna change. Your mom, your dad, your friend that drives you crazy, maybe when they're around for you too much, they're never gonna change. So it's up to me to establish boundaries, And my dad, came in here without the plate. We had a party a few days before. I was letting people eat in here, but everybody had plates. So I can see how we're kind of in this mode of, we can eat in here. So I totally get that perspective. But at the same time, what about my house, my rules? Right? My house, my rules. It's crazy. Let's go back to this real quick. All right. One thing that people don't see, when you're kind of manipulative in some sense, this opening paragraph is this gentle, this loving, I've followed you all around, but guess what? Fuck you, I got revenge on your bitch ass, And how many times have you got in a fight with a person and they open it up with something like, I love you so much. You're the world to me. I think you're so beautiful. I've loved this relationship. But you know what? You've gained too much weight. Your ass is fat and go fuck yourself, right? How many times have we had this conversation with a friend of just be like, you know what? I really like you as a friend. We've had some really good times together. I really appreciate everything you've done for me. But you're just not that interesting to me anymore. You know what I mean? It's just the way you warm this up of making yourself out to be this person, who should be allowed to eat pizza on my floor because you've followed me around the United States. It doesn't add up. It doesn't validate, it doesn't justify, it doesn't constitute any reason that you should just come into someone's house, especially their laboratory, and just eat greasy pizza and get food all over their floor. You know what I mean? It's absolutely crazy. So let's get back to this here. I love it. I think you finally got a taste of all the times, starting it off with a little spiteful revenge. Gotta love that, people. Let's see here. I am your dad. Wasn't to piss you off. I would never jeopardize your belongings. So here's what he says. He says, I would never jeopardize your belongings. I do believe that. I don't think he would intentionally jeopardize my belongings by any point. But the crazy thing is, it's like when he talks about this wooden stool, and he says, a wooden stool would have done a lot more damage than a piece of arugula, like who gets to say? Like, if it's my house, my rules, then why nitpick all these different things and say, well, I should be able to eat this pizza because the pizza technically, scientifically, is not going to do that much damage as like a plastic foot would on a stool. So technically, you're wrong about telling me not to eat in here because there was a stool in here and that stool would have done more damage. This pizza, not going to do as much damage, so you're out of line. This isn't right. I mean, like, that's kind of the undertone of what's being said here. Let's fucking move on here. When he says, then you escalated the matter by claiming I wasn't impressed, I talk about that at the end of the last transmission. I don't want to get into that right now because I want to work toward wrapping this up. But I clarified what he's talking about, and I made a really good point. But it all boils down to, how do we perceive our parents' actions? Are we going to internalize their actions? Or are we just going to be like, wait a minute, they're operating from a completely different generation, a sense of their own experience. I can't internalize their experience because I literally don't even know what's going on in their head, right? That's kind of where I concluded with the whole, you didn't like my show. It's like, no, that's how I perceived it, but that may not actually be the case. So if you want more details on that, go to the end of the last transmission. I think I made a really good, beautiful point that will help a lot of people come to just be more chill with their fucking parents, all right? And then here we go. He says, finally, I tried to explain to you that your inanimate objects can't love you back, but that you and I are blood, and that should mean something to you. But you seem to have put your worldly possessions, right? Totally undermining my shit, with this disrespectful connotation. Your worldly possessions, right? But you seem to, above everything else. I mean, my friend made a really good point, when I showed him this text message, okay? When my dad comes in here and eats greasy pizza without a plate, this is my life. This is my job. This is my passion. This is my dream. My dad's dream is karaoke, is being a DJ. And he has invested insane amounts of money into DJ equipment. And it's like, what if I were to just go to one of his gigs and just eat a piece of pizza right over his soundboard, right? And then he says, what the fuck are you doing? And I say, oh, hold on a second. This is just stuff. This is an inanimate object. This means nothing. I am your son. I could die tomorrow and you can't replace me, but you can replace all this karaoke shit, so I should be able to eat greasy fucking pizza right over the top of it, bitch. I mean, that's literally the equivalent, right? It's crazy. Like, some people don't even hear the words that are coming out of their mouth because this is just how they're programmed. And the point that I'm trying to make in this video is that I'm not the only one going through this. And I know for a fact that you have somebody in your life, whether it's a parent or a friend or a coworker or a dog or a caterpillar or a zebra, that acts a certain way that just drives you fucking bonkers, okay? What I'm telling you right now is just let it go. Let it go, because that zebra or caterpillar person is just never going to change. This is just who they are. And when we just learn to accept people for who they are, then we take a lot of pressure and frustration out of our own mind, because we don't need anybody to change. We just accept them for who they are, and we focus on ourselves. What do I need to do next time, right? I'll tell you what I need to do next time. After we have the party or something, if I'm really in touch with my boundaries and my rules in regards to this office and this laboratory, what I'm going to say is, hey, my girlfriend, hey, you, my dad, before we watch a movie tonight, I just want to let you know I had a good time eating in here with you. Unfortunately, there's no more eating allowed in here. Boom. That's me. And then chances are, there's not a chance in hell. My dad would have brought a piece of pizza in here had I said that, So again, we look back at the way we react. We look back at these situations where we think this person totally treated me like shit. But it's like, really? Did they treat you like shit? Did they disrespect you, or did you just forget to establish clear boundaries? I guarantee that you and I and all of us are constantly forgetting to establish new boundaries. And when we don't do that, people pop our personal bubble and we freak the fuck out, and it causes confrontation, but it is not grounded confrontation. It is mostly reactionary, gets us into all sorts of trouble. But you know what? Like I said, this was a very liberating experience for me because it put in perspective the only person that we need validation from is standing in the mirror. Seek validation anywhere else and we will fail. We will run in circles. We will drive ourselves crazy. Whether we're looking for likes, whether we're looking for compliments, we try to validate ourselves through sex with other people. We want apologies from people, whatever. It's just, I don't know. I kind of lost my train of thought. Let's get through this. Let's get through this here. So it says here, worldly possessions above everything else. You took what I said out of context when I said these things are nothing, because essentially what he said in the moment when this had escalated, he literally said this laboratory means nothing. He said this laboratory is nothing. I am your father. I'm a real person. So why would you put this laboratory above me? I should be able to eat pizza in here because I'm your father, and this laboratory is below me. That's pretty much what he was saying. So right here he says, you took what I said out of context, but when I said those things are nothing because everything in your place can be replaced. Your father can't. Okay? Here's what he said. It's just material to him, right? He doesn't see that this is my life. Before I get into my personal side of this, I need to say to you guys, this is going to parallel whatever you're experiencing in life, no matter how many years you put into your passion or something that you love. Your parents, your friends, your anybody will never understand the extent. Will never understand the extent of your passion, the value of your belongings, the value of your words, the value of your pursuit, because it is your pursuit. It is not your parents' pursuit. We only want it to be our parents' pursuit so that they can relate to us and validate us and reinstill what we're doing is good. Good job, buddy. Good job, buddy. Thanks, Mom and Dad. I sure feel a whole lot better now. I can finally grow up and be successful because I finally got your approval. You said exactly what I wanted you to say since I was a little baby. You said those words. You said, Matt Worldly, alien wizard science is the greatest invention ever. It's going to change the world, and you should be so proud of yourself, and I'm proud of you, and I want to eat your ass. Okay, literally, whatever they fucking say to us, it's never going to validate us. So that's the kind of double-edged sword here, right? Back to my point. Parents, whatever, never going to understand our love. If you travel the world, you've been to Guatemala, Russia, the Gulf of whatever, of all over the place, right? You have these experiences, and your parents just label it as, oh yeah, they like to go around the world. That's the extent of it. To you, you're traveling, you're evolving, you're growing, you're maturing, you're connecting with the land. To them, they're just like running around. I think they like to exercise in Mexico. I think they have like a friend in Germany they're just hanging out with. They're never going to understand the depths of our passion, right? And then the double-edged sword part is that even if they pretend to, or even if they say the things that we want to hear, yes, it's going to feel great coming from our parents, but it's just empty. It's empty. Anything external coming from out here into here, it will dissipate and it will fade. You know how many people tell me I'm an amazing face painter or so talented, whatever? It's like, yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, great, I know that, okay? I really don't need you to tell me that. I don't fucking care. I'm aware that I'm a fucking goat. I'm aware that I'm one of the best, that I'm a master. Okay, I don't need you to tell me anything. If we could take that confidence into all of our pursuits, we're going to win, okay? Even when we start off, we work, we practice, we build up. Along the way, we reflect on what we've created. Nope, I don't like that. We do it again. Okay, I like this piece. Boom. We are constantly in vision, in talks with our creation. There's no person that you can bring in. There's no mentor. Of course, there's other people's opinions, but there's no parent that's going to come in and be like, yeah, you need to re-edit that, and then it's going to be better. Okay, parent, thank you very much. You've completely changed me. No, this is not how it works. We have to do that ourselves, okay? I'm going to continue now because this is crazy, okay? When he says everything in your place can be replaced. Everything in my place can be replaced. So again, this is why I'm saying he'll never understand the extent. My mom, she loves me to death. She can't get enough of this. She's never really been disrespectful to me ever. Guess what? She will never understand the extent of this. My stepfather, who has helped me build this space, who understands my vision very well, actually, and is probably the most supportive, or, like, he helps me hands-on in here, He will never understand the extent of my love and my passion for this because he's a completely different person. Doesn't matter if it's our parents or whatever. You're never going to understand. I keep saying that because it's so important. It's such a crazy point that a lot of us overlook, and we become fixated on our whole lives. We need our parents' approval. We need this person's approval. Those days are over. They're over. And when he says this, when he says, everything in your place can be replaced, I got news for you. That's not fucking true. That is not fucking true at all. Okay? Let me show you something. Okay? This is probably now don't get me wrong here. I'm going to mention prices. But that's not what this is about. It's not about price, okay? This I paid $20 for. This is an original piece of glass from Italy that I got pretty much at a thrift store. This would retail for over $1,000. And what happens when I shine a light through this while it's rotating is the most magnificent thing you've ever seen. It quite literally looks like the universe is being recreated and then evolves and then sucked back in and recreated. I mean, you guys want to see? You guys want to see? Let's do it. Let's fucking check it out. But before we do, let's just work our way up to that. Stand by. I think we're running out of time here, but stand by. I'm going to show you what this looks like. The point that I'm trying to make is that no, there's a lot of shit in here that cannot be replaced. There are some relics in here that I would guarantee I have few or some of the only things left of it. So no, not everything can be replaced. I have a very sharp, acute, distinct eye for what I look for, and I find some fucking fantastic shit. And I buy it because I know that there's a very good chance nobody else has it. Okay? So just that, right? That little line. This whole, these little lines that our parents will spit at us. We can let these little lines drive us fucking crazy. I'm here to encourage you. The whole reason why I'm reading this to you, the whole reason why we're about to end this fucking transmission is because I'm telling you, you're going to go through life and your parents are going to say little petty things and they're not even going to realize that it hurt your feelings, and you're going to internalize it, and it's going to drive you crazy, and you're going to fucking cry, and you're going to have a conniption fit. Why? Because our expectations are not real. Our perception of how our parents should view us is truly not fair. They're a different person. They lived a different life. They're entitled to their opinion. Our opinion, our parents' opinion, no matter what it is, should just go whoop So you're like, boom. You know why? You know why I'm saying that? I'm not saying suck it up and, let people abuse you physically, mentally, and abuse you. I'm not saying suck it up, people are people, get over it. What I'm saying is when we're in these modes of when our parents or our friends are being petty, you just have to be like, it's all good, man. Like, I'm centered. Like, it's not me, it's you. And I love you. And when I say it's not me, it's you, okay, let me rephrase that. It's both of us. We're in this together. We both have stuff to learn from this. And when our parents say little tiny things and we can't forgive them, we stop talking to them for 1 to 2 to 3 weeks, forever. I stopped talking to my dad for 2 years one time because he pissed me off so bad. Sometimes that's necessary. But right now the world is at war. You know what I mean? There's a war going on. There's crazy shit going on. And we just have to take what we can get right now, okay? My dad, he's a fucking awesome dude. He's healthy, he's hilarious, he's handsome, he's got a good heart. He did follow me around the fucking United States. He did come here to visit me. He's come here 3 times now. Of course my dad loves me. I want to spend as much time with my dad as possible before he dies. Which may not be soon because my grandpa's 91, 92 years old and he doesn't look a day over 70. So I might be stuck with my dad for a long time. You might be stuck with your dad for a long time. My advice is let it ride. Let it ride. Take the good with the bad, put it on a scale. And even though this message is complete fucking bullshit crap, you put it on a scale and here's the crap over here. Here's the good stuff, okay? Wait, did I do that right? This is like backwards. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that when we put the relationship with our friends or parents on a scale, if the good mostly outweighs the bad, then suck it up and move through it. If the bad outweighs the good, move on. Like, do yourself a favor. I mean, that's a whole nother topic, but it's time to wrap this up. I think I've said the things that I needed to say, and what we'll do now is we'll transition into this. And this is a one-of-a-kind piece of glass. There is not another piece of glass like this in the entire world. And what happens when I shine light through this is one of a kind. I cannot be replaced. This laboratory is an extension of me. It cannot be replaced. My dad, he cannot be replaced. His karaoke stuff is a part of his identity. It shapes who he is. He is known in Eugene and Springfield, Oregon as the karaoke god, right? That is a part of his identity. So for me to undermine his things is really me undermining him. He may not see that, but I do. This laboratory is an extension of me. It is irreplaceable. And whether you're my dad or anybody, I want people to come in here and I want them to be respectful. After we had our charcuterie party in here, my dad said, "Man, you've got some nice friends." He said, they were standing so close to your stuff, one move and it would have been gone. And I said, yeah. So it's interesting how he takes consideration for, the delicacy of this place then, but in the heat of the moment, oh, look, here we are. Can't swallow our pride. So we act out of line, just like I did. Acting a damn fool because we don't want to be wrong. We want to be right. And of course, it gets a lot more intense when there's these, parent dynamic. It's a lot more intense. And that's it. I love you guys. I'm going to show you what this is. This is one of my best pieces, and I call it the tigerfish. And it is remarkable. And when somebody tells me that this kind of stuff can be replaced, these are the kind of the objects that I'm thinking about, and I'm like, actually, this cannot be replaced. This is one of a kind. Okay. Thank you guys so much for joining me in this incredible broadcast. Let me get everything into place here. Here, let me show you what I'm doing here. We're just gonna shine a light through this. I'm gonna turn off the laser. I'm gonna turn off my projector. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, and let me get this camera focused. Okay, I'm gonna shut off my floor. We're gonna end this episode real fashionable like, very symbolically, you know, things. I'm sure you have something important in your life. Some people may call it a thing. To you, it's everything. I can't stand cats. I think cats are kind of annoying. But when I go to your house, I'm going to treat your cat with respect. You know what I'm saying? All right, you guys. I'm going to cue up some music, and we're just going to let this ride. I love you. Peace, love, and light refraction.